Welcome back to the Bell Curve. The original Sonic the Hedgehog was Sega's opening salvo in the console wars, a brash counterpoint to Nintendo's measured, methodical Mario. But where the first game occasionally tripped over its ambition, clunky level design and uneven pacing dulled some of its shine, Sonic 2 arrives with a swagger that feels earned. Sega's developers, led by Yuji Naka, took the core concept of speed as spectacle and refined it into something sublime. From the moment you boot up the game, you're thrust into a world that feels alive, urgent and meticulously crafted to keep you moving. The stakes are higher too. Dr. Robotnik's plan to collect the Chaos Emeralds and complete his Death Egg weapon looms large, giving the game a narrative thrust that, while simple, feels suitably apocalyptic for Sonic's high-octane heroics. The level design is where Sonic 2 earns its stripes. Each zone is a masterclass in balancing speed with precision. Emerald Hill Zone sets the tone with its rolling hills and gentle curves, a forgiving playground to master Sonic's moves. But then comes Chemical Plant Zone, a neon-soaked industrial nightmare where toxic pools and high-speed tubes demand split-second reflexes. The game's variety is staggering. Casino Night Zone dazzles with its pinball-inspired gimmicks, Hilltop Zone's lava-filled peaks add verticality, and Mystic Cave's vine-swinging hazards test your platforming mettle. Every stage feels distinct, not just in aesthetics, but in how it challenges you to harness Sonic's momentum. The act-based structure, 2 short levels per zone punctuated by a boss, keeps the pacing tight, ensuring you're never bogged down in one place too long. The introduction of Miles Tails Prower, the twin-tailed fox, is a stroke of genius, even if it's not fully realised. In single player, Tails trails Sonic, occasionally helping by collecting rings or taking out enemies, but his AI is more endearing than essential. In 2-player co-op, a rarity for the time, he's a game changer, letting a friend join the action, though the Mega Drive split-screen mode chugs under the strain. Tails' presence adds warmth to the game's world. His wide-eyed admiration for Sonic grounds the hero's cocky bravado, yet you can't help but feel Sega could have done more with him. Mechanically, Sonic 2 is a leap forward. The Spin Dash, a new move letting Sonic rev up in place before launching like a cobalt bullet, is transformative. It gives players more control over the game's breakneck pace, letting you chain dashes into loops and ramps for seamless, exhilarating runs. The controls are razor sharp, with Sonic's physics feeling weighty yet responsive, a delicate balance that makes high-speed platforming intuitive. Collecting the 7 Chaos Emeralds hidden in the game's special stages is another highlight. These pseudo 3D gauntlets, where Sonic races through twisting tubes to grab rings and avoid bombs, are visually dazzling, punishingly tough. Earning all 7 unlocks Super Sonic, a near-invincible golden form that's as much a flex of skill as it is a reward for persistence. And something, I'm sorry to say, I could never achieve as a fumbling 7-year-old. Visually, Sonic 2 is a Mega Drive showpiece. The sprite work is crisp, with Sonic's animations, his cocky grin, impatient foot tap, and mid-air spin bursting with personality. Backgrounds are layered with parallax scrolling that gives each zone depth, from the shimmering waters of aquatic ruin to the smoggy haze of oil ocean. The colour palette is bold, squeezing every ounce of vibrancy from the Mega Drive's hardware. The soundtrack is equally iconic, with tracks like Chemical Plant's synth-driven banger and Green Hill's upbeat melody embedding themselves in your brain. Boss battles are another triumph. Robotnik's contraptions, a drill tank, a submarine, a laser-firing orb are varied and memorable, each requiring a mix of pattern recognition and quick reflexes. The final showdown aboard the Death Egg is a pulse-pounding climax, though its difficulty can feel like a brick wall for the unprepared. Sonic 2 isn't afraid to challenge players. Early zones are forgiving, but later stages like Metropolis and Sky Chase ramp up the intensity, with tighter platforming and more aggressive enemies. The Live system, while generous with 1-ups scattered throughout, can punish sloppy play, and the absence of a save feature, a product of its era, means you're in a marathon to reach the end. Yet for all its brilliance, Sonic 2 isn't perfect. Some later zones, particularly Metropolis, drag with repetitive enemy placement and overly long layouts. The special stages, while visually striking, can feel unfair, with their steep learning curve alienating players chasing that supersonic payoff. Tails, as mentioned, feels underutilised, a sidekick whose potential is only hinted at. And while the game's technical polish is impressive, occasional slowdown creeps in when the screen fills with sprites, a reminder of the Mega Drive's limits. For modern players, the lack of checkpoints or a save system can feel archaic, especially in a game that demands precision at breakneck speed. Still, these are minor quibbles in a game that radiates confidence. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is Sega at its zenith, a title that doesn't just compete with its rivals, but redefines what a platformer can be. It's a game about motion, about the sheer joy of going fast, yet it never sacrifices depth for spectacle. Whether you were a kid in '92 clutching a Mega Drive controller, or a retro enthusiast revisiting today, Sonic 2 delivers a rush that's timeless. It's not just a sequel, it's a blueprint for what speed can mean in a video game, and it still leaves most modern platformers eating its dust. Just like Sonic says, let's do it to it. So hit that like button, subscribe and comment for more retro reviews.